Hey everybody, it's me Brianna, and I'm here with some things you may recognize or notice about, toxic people, hateful people, negative, unhealthy, inadequate, insecure, like mean-spirited people. One is that they are very relentless with how they do things. They are very determined to spread their hate, to show their hate, to prove their hate, and that whatever they trying to say is right. Especially if they could get a self-hating person. You know what I mean? So they can easily say, oh, colorism doesn't exist. And they will go and find a dark-skinned person who is like, oh, yeah, colorism doesn't exist because I'm in this situation or I'm going through this, or they could go and find a trans person who is filled with self-hate, right? Who has that internalized hate. And they're like, well, I can vouch because this is going on and this is going on and this is going on. Right. The next thing is that they know what they're doing. They don't care what they're doing. They know, they don't care. They're very aware because going to the next point, it's not about right or wrong. It's about my benefit, my needs. I don't care what you got going on. That's not the point. The point is I'm not happy. So nobody's happy because I'm not happy. And you're going to get treated however I feel like I want to do things, because it's not about moral code or what's right. It's about what I feel and what is for me. Hey, this is a part 2 to toxic people, negative people, insecure people, like willfully ignorant and mean-spirited people. Another thing, or I guess the fourth or fifth thing, third thing, whatever, they are very insecure, right? So they could speak on things that even they went through. But it doesn't matter because that person healed, they didn't. That person ended up here, they didn't. They are very insecure. They know what somebody has, even if they didn't go through something, because there are situations where if that they are not in those shoes no more, they bash people who are in those shoes or who are like healing, who have moved on in a well, manner. They could not be in those experiences and be just mad because you have that house, so they can be jealous and envious, and not in a way that's like, oh, wow, dang, they got that. It's just like this vengefulness, this irritation, this disgust, this violent, like, irritation that they have. Like, you can't be above me. So they bring people down because it's like, when you're down here, I win at this lowly treatment of people. So I could bring you down because in this negativity, I can always win. Hey, this is a part 2 to toxic people, negative. And just to come off of that point about them being very insecure, they do these little things, like they have little tactics or ways of showing love or supporting people. And it's really weird. Or like if they're in a relationship, it's like lovers quarrel, and it's really weird. They tally up marks, they hold things over people, they count things, they compete, they compare. Like, oh, you went to that school, but my education was better than yours. Like, that doesn't make sense. Or remember that thing you did? Don't think that you can, like, tell me something or make me apologize or make me feel sorry. Because remember, you did this and you did that. And it could be something so minute, like you forgot to, wash their favorite mug or something like that. But they're going to hold it over you. They're going to hold it over you. And they love people being around them. That's how they get their transactions, right? You're not a person. You some form of supply. You have some hold, some benefit. So, they love bomb, they entrap people. They do this thing where I don't like you, but you can't leave because I love you. Remember all of these things, and then they do these gifts and gift giving and all of those things just to make you comfortable enough to stay so that they could keep getting their benefits. And the last 2 points that I wanted to hit on is about how these people, negative people, they are always changing things. They are always manipulating and antagonizing, and they always flowing. They are consistently inconsistent because they're trying to hide things. But in the midst of it, the second thing is they end up exposing themselves. they jumble up their words. They, do word salads or they word vomit. They spit things out. And it's just like, that doesn't make sense. And then in the midst of it, they put in like little points, right? Or they say half truths. And they end up saying their insecurities, right? The things that they're trying to hide. So while they constantly creating problems and arguments and new hoops for their friends to jump through and new limits for their spouse to reach, you need to be ride or die. You need to settle. You need to know how to compromise. You need to keep enduring, especially if you in a spousal relationship or family, because it's like, oh, we blood, we in this forever, or we married, we in this forever. So just know your worth and know when to just leave, because that is a breaking point. Because all they're going to do is keep overstepping your boundaries and keep pushing you and keep pushing you and keep pushing you, but then love bombing you and trapping you. But they end up exposing themselves, like, oh, I don't like this about myself, or, or they say it in a very confident way, like, oh, it's about respect, so be aware. The last 2 points that I wanted to hit on is about how I know that I touched on some points about negative people, whether they are doing it directly or passive aggressively or, indirectly. But this is something else that they do. Or this is like one of the mainstream things. They do things unprovoked, and they always have to be seen as the savior or the victim, but either way, it's always this. It's always going to be some positive thing for them and negative for you. You know what I mean? Like, out of nowhere, they start gossiping. Out of nowhere, they apologize. Out of nowhere, they start venting. Out of nowhere, they start having excuses. And it's random. It's just out of nowhere. Out of nowhere, they like, oh, well, this didn't happen because I have this excuse. But I'm the hero, I'm the one that was doing this, or there was a reason. And it's like, what? It's simple. Be respectful or be a decent human being. But it's like, no, I have these excuses because there's a reason. You know what I mean? And it's really odd, or I'm going to apologize, but I'm the victim because there's a reason, right? They have to be seen in this victim's role or this savior, like this saviorism that they have to like stand in that, they got to stand in that. And it's so random because they, just to that last point, they try to hide things, but they expose themselves.